Hi, welcome back to my Python series. So we have talked about a lot in basic Python and today we're going to review all of them. So I made 2 extra slides, review and review part 2, and they will review all of the slides in the slideshow. So let's read the slides. Here are the topics that we talked about in the slideshow. Escape characters. So in escape characters, we learned about the backslash, where it helps Python to ignore different, single quotes or double quotes that we don't want it to think that it's the ending. We don't want it, so we use escape characters. F-strings. F-strings are basically a way to put variables into strings so you don't have to type out the exact word. We use flower brackets or curly brackets for this. Triple quotes. Triple quotes is another way to make strings with multiple lines that is not using the new line method. You can learn about the new line method in the escape character slide. Adding strings. In Python, you can actually add strings together like compound words like basketball or rooftop. So those are the topics in the strings chapter. Now let's go to the variables chapter. Naming variables. So in this slide, I have talked about all the rules of naming variables so variables work at their best. Types of variables. So we reviewed all the types of variables depending on what they hold. Like one variable that holds strings is different from a variable that holds a list. So those are the topics in the variables chapter. Parameters. We learned about parameters as a part of the function and how important they are in making sure the function does its job. Making functions. We have learned how to make our own functions so it saves us time and we don't have to type out a lot of code. Those are the topics in the functions chapter. Now we go to review part 2. So this is a continuation of the last slide. Operators. We have previewed all of the operators and how they compare to numbers. Calculations. We learned how to do calculations with the print function and with the operators addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Those are the topics in the integers and operators chapter. Mutability. We learned the definition of mutability and how important it is for for lists in Python. Tuples. Lists. We have learned about lists and some benefits and disbenefits of lists and what items it can hold. Tuples. We learn about tuples and how they are different from lists and why do we have to use them. Indexing. Both list and tuples have indexing, which is the order of the items in the list or tuple. Changing lists. So these functions, we previewed all the functions that can help you change lists, such as adding items, subtracting items, or replacing items in a list. Using functions to check attributes in lists. So we also learned a couple of functions for checking attributes in lists, like how many items there are in a list, and things like that. Those are the topics in the lists and tuples chapter. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope this review